This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis.
Oh, yeah, we've gone the full-on production for this week's Little Saturday podcast. We do them every Wednesday, just a little hockey talk in the middle of the week to carry us through from our regular weekend shows. But yes, because it's the start of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, we're going full production with the intro and video and the whole bit, and we're looking forward to it and super excited to finally get the playoffs going. I'll remind you again, our social media handles at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports on Twitter and Instagram. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is the email. And yes, after 2 days of waiting and not much of anything and a lot of channel flipping and realizing that there's really not much good on television other than NHL hockey and kind of biting your fingernails with anticipation and excitement and trying to figure out which teams are going to win in the opening round, it's here. It's here. It's the opening night of the Stanley Cup playoffs on three fronts, with the Minnesota Wild taking on the Winnipeg Jets, Philadelphia Flyers and Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Los Angeles Kings taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll talk more about these three series. In fact, we'll touch on all 8 opening round series on this Little Saturday podcast. And yeah, there'll be some predictions, but we'll save that for a little bit later on this podcast as well. But we're looking forward to it. We're excited about it. There's always something special about opening night. You remember back to the start of the season in October, and it's just that excitement and anticipation of something that's been away for a while. Here, with the start of the playoffs, it's been away just for a little while, only 2 days complete. Remember, we had the one makeup game on Sunday, but now it's the second season. It's the playoffs, where teams will be eliminated every week or two, and then we'll get to a winner sometime early in June. There's been lots of stuff going on in the National Hockey League as well outside of the playoffs, besides teams practicing and getting ready for a couple of days and all the questions about who's going to be in the lineup and which injured players are coming back, which goaltender is going to start in a few cases. A few interesting things in terms of what other teams who aren't participating in the postseason are looking forward to as they head into their summer. Exit meetings galore have been taking place. We have only had one coach dismissed, and that was Alain Vigneault of the New York Rangers. I can't say as I'm really surprised at that one. I did think, though, that there would be a couple more. And maybe that's still to come. There's still a few teams that have suggested, well, we're reevaluating our coaching and management staff as well as everyone in our hockey operations. There's been a few town hall meetings that have been held, and kind of cantankerous ones in Ottawa about the future of the Senators and whether or not Erik Karlsson's still going to be with that team. But it's going to be interesting. We're getting a lot of the usual PR spin from all of the teams that said, yes, it was disappointing. We've put that behind us, though, and now it's about moving forward, and we're evaluating different areas of our hockey operations, looking at areas we can improve, what went wrong, there will be changes, and that kind of usual boilerplate stuff. Some of them, I guess, I believe a little bit more than others. A lot of them, though, it's going to be, you know what, show me what you got. We've heard this from you before. This is pretty standard stuff after a season where there's disappointment and heartbreak and a team misses out on the postseason, to say, yes, we're not happy with how things went, and there's going to be some changes and there will be some new things happening this offseason. I guess that makes sense. I want to start seeing some of this stuff. Well, we're evaluating now. Isn't that something that takes place all season long? If it's not, it should be, and that's the first thing that you need to change. The other story, of course, that has touched so many of us, the terrible, tragic bus crash that took place in Saskatchewan involving the Humboldt Broncos, Saskatchewan junior hockey team. 15 lives were lost in that crash that took place on Friday. 14 others suffered injuries and are still recovering in Saskatchewan. And it's a story that has touched all of us, especially those in Canada, or in my case, a transplanted Canadian who is now living in the United States. It is a suffering that is going from coast to coast to coast in Canada. There has been an overflow of emotion from everyone in the hockey community. Those offering help and assistance has been enormous. in the hockey community and in Canada. And some of the things we've been seeing, some of the stories that we're starting to hear now that have come out, people who have offered their homes if people need a place to stay, simply showing up and offering support, doing whatever they can. The GoFundMe has reached an extraordinary proportion of, I believe it was over $8 million at the last time I had checked it. The emotional outpouring has been unbelievable. There is a wonderful grassroots gesture that has caught on through social media and has gone wild across Canada as well, that they're leaving sticks out for the boys because they might need them. It started with a broadcaster who thought, you know what, I'm leaving a stick out on my porch for the boys because they might need them as they get set for their next game, wherever that might be. And it was just a nice gesture, a way to show support and offer comfort to those that need it. There is a National Jersey Day that is taking place in Canada on Thursday, where people are encouraged to wear their hockey jerseys. Again, it's another way to show support, offer a shoulder to lean on, wrap your arms around someone and give them a hug because they need it. And I'm feeling emotional just talking about it, and it's been an emotional overflow over the last few days, and it's going to take time to heal. The last couple of days where there hasn't been any NHL hockey in this case has perhaps been kind of good for some. But now, as we get set to begin the Stanley Cup playoffs for the 2017-18 season, it will help with the healing. As life does begin to focus and shift back to the normal, it will help with the healing and the returning to hockey. But the support for all these young men, their families, life has changed forever for everyone. There's, as I've mentioned, so many great stories and wonderful stories to hear about. Ryan Streshnitsky was one of the players on the Humboldt Broncos who has been left paralyzed after his injury suffered in that accident. The support and his emotional state are wonderful, because when he and his family received the news, Ryan said to his dad, "Olympic sledge hockey. That's where we're going next. Want to bring back the gold." That's an unbelievable response from that young man. And we'll continue to offer our love and support to all those that need it. As I said, as we get back to NHL hockey and life resumes and starts to shift back towards a bit of new normal, we begin the process of healing, and we'll do it with the game that we love, and it will provide relief and comfort and something to smile about and get excited about for so many. With this year's Stanley Cup to be awarded in June to someone, there is a bit of a changing of the guard with the Stanley Cup. As happens every decade or so, there is a ring of names from previous winning teams that is removed from the Stanley Cup. That's so the Stanley Cup doesn't grow to epic proportions of 2 and 3 stories high. Those rings are removed. There is a process. They are stored in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and a new ring, blank for the moment, will be installed along the bottom. And as one comes off, the rings move up. It's about 50 or so years that players get to keep their names on the Stanley Cup. But this year, we're losing some significant names to that ring that comes off the cup that travels around and will be stored in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That ring will include names like Bobby Hull, Gordie Howe, and Maurice Richard. And yeah, we don't forget them. We'll just see those names in a different spot. Okay, we're looking forward to exciting start to the postseason. 3 games on opening night, with the Minnesota Wild taking on the Winnipeg Jets, Philadelphia Flyers, and Pittsburgh Penguins in the Battle of Pennsylvania. And perhaps the most curious game on opening night, the Los Angeles Kings in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights, the team that has captured everyone's imagination since the start of the season. And what will they do in the postseason? Can that unbelievable level of success be achieved in a best 4 out of 7 series with LA? Yeah, we'll see. There's also intrigue through each of the other series. I can find storylines in all 8 series that I'm interested in following along, some a little more so than others, but there's storylines worth following in each of them. Okay, what everybody wants, what everybody looks for, the predictions, what do you think is going to happen? If you were with us on the weekend, I went back and reviewed our preseason predictions for both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference and got about half of them right. Yeah, half the teams that I said were going to be in the playoffs aren't in the playoffs, and vice versa. But you know what? Everybody makes predictions, and we'll see what happens. We'll follow along and keep track of them as well. But on opening night, Minnesota taking on Winnipeg, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, LA and Vegas. Tampa Bay Lightning get their series started on Thursday, hosting the New Jersey Devils. I think we'll save that prediction right for the end in a couple of minutes. But okay, there's a few surprises I think we could see. There's often a team that wins the game on opening night that is a visiting team. The visiting team is the underdog because they finished with a lower record than the host team. Visiting teams I can see winning on opening night. Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Boston Bruins. That series also gets going on Thursday. LA and Vegas. Yes, I can see Vegas winning on opening night. The San Jose Sharks as well. That's going to be a terrific series with San Jose and the Anaheim Ducks. All right, here we go. Philadelphia Flyers, Pittsburgh Penguins. This is just simply too much firepower for the Philadelphia Flyers. Pittsburgh Penguins have scoring throughout their lineup. Matt Murray should be healthy. I don't think he'll be bothered by the fact that Marc-Andre Fleury isn't waiting in the wings to be the understudy and come in if necessary. Philadelphia had a great run to get into the postseason, but if that top line doesn't score, then Philadelphia doesn't have success. And Brian Elliott's back for a couple of games. We'll see how it goes, but I'm picking Pens in 5 in this one. Toronto, Boston, as I said, I could see the Leafs winning on opening night, but Boston, they have been a good team and built through the season. It seems as they've been able to survive any sort of injury they've endured. Rick Nash is back skating and should be back in the lineup for game number 1. Toronto might win on opening night, but in a close series, I'll take the Bruins in 7. We could see a bunch of overtime in this game as well. The Columbus Blue Jackets don't get the Pittsburgh Penguins to start this season. It'll be the Washington Capitals. And I think it's maybe good for both of them. I think the Caps win it. I think they have more scoring. I think they may also use Philip Grubauer, who's starting game 1, and Braden Holtby before the series is over, but the Caps over the Columbus Blue Jackets in 6. Minnesota-Winnipeg opens up tonight, Wednesday night, and it's going to be Winnipeg in this one. Minnesota's had a good run. They've survived injuries. They don't have Ryan Suter for the postseason, and Winnipeg can shoot the lights out and score an awful lot of goals. Winnipeg will win. In fact, that'll be a fast series. We'll give it to them in 5. Vegas hosting LA. I think finally the clock does strike midnight for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's been an incredible season. Whatever happens in the postseason doesn't matter. It's been a great first year for the Golden Knights in the National Hockey League, and I like LA in this one in 6. Preds hosting the Colorado Avalanche. What a great job by the Colorado Avalanche to bounce back with a better than 40-point improvement in the standings, get themselves into the playoffs after finishing dead last in the season series in the NHL last year. They are in the postseason. We're just happy to be here, and I think that's the way it's going to go because, again, if the top line doesn't score, they're in trouble, and Nashville is built to win a cup. Got a taste of it last year. They want to sip from it this year. Nashville over Columbus in 5. Anaheim and San Jose could be the closest one. These are 2 good California teams. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that San Jose might be the sneaky team to watch for. Anaheim won 5 straight going down the stretch into the postseason. Is John Gibson going to play? We'll see. Hoping he's back on the proviso that John Gibson is healthy and plays. I'll take Anaheim in a really close series. I want to take San Jose, but I'm going to take Anaheim, and I'll tell you why in a second. Tampa Bay Lightning, New Jersey Devils. Again, a great job by the New Jersey Devils to get themselves back into the postseason. After being the lottery-winning team a year ago, they're into the postseason. Taylor Hall, MVP candidate, is a joy to watch out on the ice, and he helped drag his team into the postseason. Tampa Bay, though, built top to bottom really well. Great forward lines, great defense. Andrei Vasilevsky has been stellar all season long, and I think it's going to be Tampa Bay that will come away in this series. Probably 6 games. New Jersey is a disruptive team with that aggressive forecheck, and I think Tampa will struggle a little bit with that. Now, one of the reasons I took Anaheim in that series that could go either way with the San Jose Sharks, I figure, is because my preseason prediction of the Stanley Cup final remains intact. It is still possible. Both teams made the playoffs, and I guess I got to stick with it going all the way through. I had Anaheim and Tampa Bay facing off in the Stanley Cup final in June. We'll wait and see. We're looking forward to it. We're going to have special shows on the Tampa Bay Power Play Network starting on Thursday. Game number 1 for the Lightning and the New Jersey Devils. 2:30 Eastern is when we'll start. We'll have shows on in advance of games number 3 and 4, and really looking forward to these extra programs in addition to our Little Saturday podcast, which roll every Wednesday. You can listen online at hockeyunfiltered.com. We stream live on the Hockey Unfiltered app, all powered by Primetime Radio. And plus, we'll be back for our regular weekend shows, Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, again at hockeyunfiltered.com and streaming live on the Hockey Unfiltered app. The wait is over. It's time to get going with the Stanley Cup playoffs on Wednesday night. We're looking forward to it. We'll look forward to our special program Thursday afternoon at 2:30 Eastern, and our regular shows Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Enjoy the first night of hockey. We're looking forward to the Standing Up playoffs, and we'll be back with you again soon.